there, welcome to 20 for 20. My name is Kathleen Draper with the Elks National Foundation. Today I'm joined by Annabelle Noyes, a 2020 Top 20 Most Valuable Student Scholar, sponsored by Waukesha, Wisconsin, Lodge number 400. Thank you so much for joining us today, Annabelle.
Thank you.
And first I'll just have you kind of introduce yourself and tell us where you're from.
Alrighty, so my name is Annabelle Noyes, and I live in Hartford, Wisconsin, and this fall I'll be attending the University of Pennsylvania, and specifically the Wharton School of Business, studying management and finance.
That's awesome. And how did you choose that field of study?
I've always been very interested in business and finance, and in high school I found myself very interested in clubs like FBLA and DECA, and once I took upon leadership positions in those organizations, it kind of just became my pathway to pursue a business career.
That's awesome. And I know your classes probably begin soon because we're halfway through August here. Are you excited to start, and what will those look like?
I'm super excited to start. I start on September 1st, and my classes will be completely online, and I'm actually staying in Wisconsin this semester as Penn has recently moved to completely remote learning. However, I'm still very excited because in high school I took mostly AP courses, so I didn't get to take a lot of hardcore business courses like marketing or finance. I had to kind of self-teach those concepts to myself, so it'll be nice to actually have a formal instruction teaching me about what I want to pursue one day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what kind of classes are you taking?
This year I'm taking a calculus class, and it's called Calculus for Wharton Students. So not only is it just the textbook items, it's applying calculus situations to real business scenarios. I'm taking the second class of stats. I'm also taking the history of capitalism and socialism during the 20th century. And then I'm also taking Spanish course, and then my fifth class, I have a legal studies course.
That's awesome. That all sounds really exciting and like it's going to be a really interesting semester. And obviously, a big part of your high school time and probably part of your college career is going to be service. So, what does service mean to you?
Service means just giving back to the people in, whether it's in my community or people living somewhere else, especially during these times. That's super relevant. I guess helping people through Zoom if you can. For example, something I've been doing with quarantine, I've been doing lots of Zoom classes or Zoom sessions with incoming seniors in high school who are very nervous about the college application process. So that's, just last year I was a senior, and that was a very nerve-wracking process for me going through the application process because, I come from a school where not a lot of people leave Wisconsin, and so applying to East Coast schools, it was very, very frightening because I didn't really know what to write about. I wasn't sure how to effectively represent myself in my application. So I've just been hosting Zoom lessons to people who were in the same boat I was in a year ago, and especially with this unique application cycle with out the SAT and limited spots this year in the class of 2025. So to answer your original question, service means just helping someone in the way that you are able to. And, it doesn't always have to be money or having an actual product to give someone. It can also just be offering someone advice, and if you have the knowledge.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to serve others, and that's really cool that you've been able to kind of step into that role and mentor incoming seniors in your school. The college application process, from what I remember, is very daunting and very challenging, and especially in the current climate, like you said, with all the changes. It can be even more kind of frightening to embark on that. So that's really cool that you've been able to step in and help with that. And what is something that you're most proud of up to this point?
Probably starting the National Business Honor Society at my school. That's something that took a lot of work, trying to get students interested. So I'm very proud of that because it was my senior year, and I technically couldn't even become a member because you had to be part of the honor society for at least 2 years. So like I couldn't even gain membership, but I was setting it up for, the sophomores and juniors at my school and, years to come. So that's something I'm proud of because, and this was after, college applications. So I wasn't benefiting from it besides, the skills I gained from starting the organization, but I was doing it strictly out of, promoting business education at my school and, hoping to give another business organization for the future students at my high school.
Yeah, that's awesome that you were able to do that. And being an Elks Scholar will also help you do a lot of different things, especially in the service realm and leadership roles. So what do you think that being an Elks Scholar is going to help you do?
I think it sets up a network, and I think knowing that now I'm officially an Elks Scholar, I feel like I have something to uphold. Like now that college applications are over, and doesn't mean I have to stop serving others. It doesn't mean I have to stop giving 100% in what I'm doing. Doesn't mean I have to, focus on just my studies in college. Like now I have a network and, people to communicate with across the country. And it was great meeting so many people during the Zoom calls in April. So an Elks Scholar to me just means that, I have something to uphold and I want to continue the path that I'm currently on. And also an Elks Scholar means to me to just set an example for other people in multiple realms, academics, service, gratitude, just, in as many areas as I can to inspire others.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you touched on the leadership weekend that we had back in April, which feels like forever ago. But what was your favorite part of the MBS Top 20 virtual leadership weekend?
I liked hearing what everyone had to say about like what they've done, with their high school experience. I just think it's really fascinating thinking of, how people, do different projects based on their interests. And it was just really fascinating to hear everyone's answer to the question, like, what are you most proud of? And, it gives me faith in our generation, knowing that, there's so many active and passionate students, even just beyond the Elks Scholar group.
Yeah, it was so awesome to be a part of that. And even though I was just kind of in the background listening in, it was really inspiring to hear all of your stories and all of the amazing things that the Top 20 have accomplished. And it was just a lot of fun to be a part of that. And what were you doing, if you remember, when you found out that you were a Top 20 MVS scholar?
I was just sitting in my living room. I was doing some of my homework through Zoom, and I checked my email, and I was just super excited. I was not doing anything unique, but nevertheless, it was still a great moment. It just makes me happy that I have an additional source to fund my education, and it was a feeling of like gratitude, like, oh, they chose me, but also like a feeling of relief, like, that I have something to support me in my education.
Yeah, that's a great feeling. And what makes you an Elk Scholar?
I think in general, I'm well-rounded, and that's a very broad term. However, I'm I'm well-rounded, and another thing, I'm very gracious about, you know, what I have in my life, and I try to give back to the best of my ability. Like, for example, like the college application advice, like, you know, there's not much I can get out of it
Mhm.
besides, helping others. So I think just that I try to do the best I can to make an impact on others, and especially, you know, I love giving advice to people who are younger than me because I remember being in those exact same positions. So I guess that I love to reach out to others and be supportive. I'm well-rounded. I work often. I do my best in school, and yet at the end of the day, I try to support the people around me.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of being an Elk Scholar is kind of doing things for others and using your experiences to really help those who might not have had them otherwise. So that's really awesome. And what is something that you're passionate about outside of academics?
I'm super passionate about climate change. I just think it not only is it just an interesting topic for me, like, learning about environmental science. I'm super passionate about it because it's a very relevant topic, and the more and more people learn about it, the more and more, hopefully we'll have change. And uh, what I also like about this is it's something different from like the major I'm pursuing. It's something, maybe even I could combine my major with environmental science because, big part of climate change is the actions of businesses, and I'm going into business and hopefully management. So I'm just super passionate about climate change and getting involved in climate action groups. And before the COVID era, I'd like to go to like protests, just because it's, collective action. I think it's super important. And hopefully climate change isn't a topic, to get super invested in, because hopefully it's not much of an issue in 50 years.
Yeah, and that would be really cool to be able to use your business experience to kind of further that passion that you have. I actually have a very good friend who's getting an MBA right now who wants to work in environmental justice. So that's really awesome that that's something that you're passionate about and thinking about for the future. And if you could say anything to the Elks, what would you say?
I would say thank you, just giving me a source to finance my education, and thank you for providing me with a network of people that I hopefully have for a long time. And thank you just for, reminding me that my hard work throughout, high school and in the future, it's going to pay off. And, I greatly appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Annabelle. Thanks to all of our viewers for tuning in. If you like the show, hit the like button below and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for helping us build stronger communities and connecting with the hashtag Elks family. See you next time.